Hi, welcome to the exercise. What I've seen in my experience is that people don't um, are not afraid of customer interviews or conducting them. They are afraid of going to a customer, like talking to a customer. They feel they'll be intruding. Will the customer give them time or not? That becomes a challenge, not the interview itself. So, in this exercise, I'm going to give you some guidelines. But the first problem to go to a customer and talk to them is something that you need to solve with persistence and with respect for the customer. I would recommend you call five customers, five potential customers, talk to them, explain that you're doing something, whatever you're doing, and that you're trying to solve a problem and you need some help in getting some insights, and see how that script works, right? So only talk, don't email 200 customers and then you're not getting any replies back. I would recommend you to call them and do this conversation one on one. Then schedule some time. You tell them it's for 10 minutes, and the actual interview may last a little longer, but you schedule for 10 minutes, right? Because people will hesitate. If you go and tell them, I need 1 hour of your time, I don't think anyone will schedule a call with you, right? But if you tell them it's just 10 minutes that I need to talk to you about, and if they genuinely, if they see that you're genuinely concerned, they will definitely give you more time, right? And yeah, so do these things. Now let me get into how to conduct that interview. So when are these customer interviews effective, right? Before building anything, validate demand first. When you're validating the demand for this whatever product you're building or whatever idea you have, that's when customer interviews are effective. I told you, let's say if you're going in for a heavy investment, do the interviews first. When you ask about past behavior, we spoke about this. Tell me about the last time you did XYZ or you felt like this. You must listen more than you talk, right? Let the customers take the center stage, encourage them by using things like, then next, what happened next? How did you do this? Or, anything that helps them to continue with their story and with their emotional expression. Ask open-ended questions. Don't put them in a corner with yes or no questions. This is not good for you, right? Focus on their problems. At this point, assume you have no solution, but you're focusing on their problem only, trying to understand the problem in depth completely. When you talk to people about who have the problem, not people who might have a problem, right? So there is a difference. You need to identify people who have the problem, not might have this problem. If it's a might situation, you'll get the wrong answers. When a customer interview is not effective, wouldn't you love a product that? And they'll say, yeah, I love it. You know, that's the answer you're going to get. Yeah, I love it. Would you buy this? And they'll say, yeah, I'll buy it. Uh, when you pitch during the interview, save selling for later. You're not here to pitch, you are here to understand. When you only talk to friends and family, they'll be nice to you. When you ask for product feedback about problems instead, ask about problems instead, not just product feedback. Like I said, how is the food at the restaurant? Say, okay, because I'm not coming back here. So I'll say, yeah, wonderful. When you interview the wrong people, people without the pain. So spoke about that. Now let's see quickly how to conduct an effective customer interview. So define your learning goals. What do you want to know? What are the expected outcomes, or let's say what is there you're trying to gather from this whole thing? Because the interviews, because there are a lot of open-ended questions, you might digress also. So stay on your goal. What do you want from the interview? Identify specific people to interview, demographics plus psychographics. Prepare open ended questions. Like I said, plan for 30 to 40 minutes, enough time for stories to emerge. Choose a neutral location where they feel comfortable. So call them for a coffee or something. Don't put them in a stress situation. Opening 5 minutes, thank them for their time, explain your learning about their experience, ask their permission to record. Start with easy background questions. Then, main questions. Tell me about a typical day, week in your relevant area. What's your most frustrating part about relevant process? Walk me through the last time you did this. What you have tried to solve this problem. What would your ideal solution look like? Close with 5 to 10 minutes. What question should I have asked you that I didn't? That's a good question to ask. Who else should I talk to who has a similar challenge? Can I follow up if I have more questions? So keep the conversation open. And it'll also be nice if you could update them on the progress that you're making. People love to get engaged with building processes. It's that other people don't engage them, right? So if you interview someone, keep them updated about what is happening at your end also. This we learned earlier. Listen for emotion, ask for follow up questions, take notes on exact words. I mean, today you can just record an interview, you can transcribe, you can give it to AI to, make sense of it, give you some points, summarize it. It's become so much more easier. Stay curious, not defensive. Don't defend your product. Just keep an open mind, just listen. Let silence happen, right? Yeah. And the second part, like I said, there were two learnings. One, how to conduct an interview, when to do it, what questions to ask. And the second part was, how do I narrow down on my customer avatar, right? You saw in the Glossier case study how conscious she was of the customer avatar. So this is how you can design as the template for a customer avatar. Age, gender, location, income level, education, job status, job title, family status. What are their primary goals, biggest challenges, values, interest and hobbies, information sources, social media usage, right? So in the case of Glossier's, the primary goal was that I want to get ready quickly. That's my primary goal because I don't have too much time. I have very little time in the morning. Biggest challenges in the Nika story you heard, the biggest challenge was that I always see models using products. I don't see people like me using those products, right? Um, so values, you can, what would be a good example of values, right? So taking recommendations would be one value. Um, yeah, I mean, looking at influencers, oh, sorry, that could be your information source. Social media usage, what kind of usage patterns do they have? Yeah, behavioral patterns, then specific use cases, then pain points. So when you go through these answers, I mean, these areas define the customer avatar for you, which you can narrow down and target, right? Um, so you will have to probably create an Excel sheet, enter all data, copy paste the data into AI, and these are the prompts that you can use. So based on customer avatar template I've filled out, please create a comprehensive customer persona that includes a detailed day in the life narrative showing how this person experiences problem that I'm trying to solve. Specific pain points, buying behavior, preferred communication channels, objections and concerns. This is very important. Influencers, where do they get their information from? What are the memory, um, name, and backstory to make them feel more relatable? And this is how you're going to structure this. So, this is exercise one. It takes time. This one is not 20 minutes, 30 minutes. The avatar one you could do in probably 20 minutes. And before that is the customer interview guide. If you're trying to interview your customers, please make a Google form or you're going to you're largely going to do face-to-face interviews. So yeah, that's the template for that. I'm going to take you to the second exercise now. So the idea of all of this is to discover pain points, right? We are not just, it's a very focused activity. I want to discover pain points of my customer, and I want to narrow down to a specific customer avatar. So once you do those interviews, you can come up with these surface level problems, underlying frustrations, emotional impact. How does this problem make them feel? This is very important, right? What emotions did you observe during interviews? You must put down your observations after every interview in terms of any emotions that you particularly picked up on, right? Our goal is to understand frustrations and pain points largely. What words did they use to describe frustration? How urgent is solving this problem for them? So, this is the answer that you're trying to get, the urgency level. So, once you have these things in place, again, I've given you an AI prompt that will give you a deep insight into your customer problems and will also give you a marketing message recommendation using your customer's language. This is very powerful, right? We saw how marketing campaigns or marketing focuses change in multiple stories that we went through, especially in the dress story, in the Rent the Runway story, how they discovered that people were not so price conscious, but they wanted to feel smarter about their decisions, right? So, this is where the marketing message recommendation will come in, right? So, I would strongly recommend you to leverage these two exercises to understand your customers better. Outcome should be one or two very specific customer avatars that you can market to. I hope you enjoyed this module. Let me know, give me your feedback. I want to know more about, how I could have made this more interesting for you, or if there was more content that you needed, or if there was some specific point that I could have missed. I would be happy to know about it. And if you get a chance, please book a one-to-one call as well. Thank you. I look forward to meeting you in the next module.